Hey, Eastlake community, my name is Mrs. Brinkman, and I am here with Miss Huslin today, and she's going to be taking us through all the updates on the renovation. I know you've seen it driving past Eastlake Parkway, and you see fencing and, some construction stuff going on. She today is going to give us all the updates to highlight all the great work that you've been overseeing here on campus. So, how are you doing, Miss Huslin?
I'm doing great, thank you.
Thank you so much for doing this for us today. We really appreciate it, and I'm sure the community is super excited to finally hear about all of the changes that have been a long time coming.
Right, so as you're aware, our school opened in 1992 and it's been left relatively untouched since then. So beginning in the fall of 23, the district started a year-long painting and flooring renovation. And so they went through building by building, renewing all the carpeting, the vinyl, the painting, both inside and out. So it was much overdue, and I think the results are fantastic.
So we're going to take you on a little tour today just to show all the upgrades. So let's start here with our main office. So can you tell us what happened? What are some of the big changes in here?
So really they left the structure alone and they took out the flooring that was peeling up and they replaced it with our lovely wood grain vinyl that I think makes the office look professional and updated. They also repainted everything. We didn't actually have to change much of the furniture or anything because with the pop of color, with the fresh paint, everything looks new. One of the things that we had to do was a little bit structural outside with the fencing. When they fenced the school back in the early 90s, they actually fenced in the attendance windows, which really didn't make any sense because 90% of our foot traffic in the office are parents that are here to pick up their students for a variety of appointments. So about a year ago, we redid that fence so that now the attendance windows sit outside of the fence. And so they go to the attendance windows and then everything is taken care of there. And if they do have to enter campus, that's where they enter campus, through that one door.
Oh, that's so much more accessible.
Yes.
A little bit easier to manage.
And most importantly, safer.
Absolutely, absolutely. So now that we're done in the main office, you want to take us around a tour?
Absolutely. Let's go.
I feel like this is probably the most awe-worthy moment in here. Take us through the theater. What happened? What'd you do?
Well, first and foremost, what they did is they painted the theater more like a traditional theater with the dark walls. They redid the flooring and they took out the chairs that were bolted into the concrete and replaced them with chairs. As you see, we're in the process of putting new curtains in.
They're beautiful.
Yes.
Everything's so clean and so pretty.
Right, and so we now have like a proper theater. In addition, there's still some work that's going to happen in the near future. First of all, they're going to re-sand and resurface the stage floor, which again, being over 30 years old, was a little bit in rough shape. And so we have not only just some aesthetic things going on, but also some real practical things going on in the theater.
But what's really, really nice about that is that you're still taking a moment and honoring our greats that were here before. We have our Keith Davis stage. I'm just so excited that you're able to refinish that, and that's going to be a nice moment for the alumni on campus.
Right, right.
Well, anything else that we need to look forward to? Any sound systems or anything?
Those are in the works.
Okay.
We also have some money coming down from the state that will help us to refurbish everything in the theater.
Wow.
Not just the surfaces.
All right, Ms. Huslin, you ready to continue on our tour?
Yes, let's head over to the classrooms.
All right, sounds good. Let's go. So here we are, we're in one of our famous classrooms, IT5, home of the amazing Mr. Garcia. And here we want to showcase what's been happening inside the classroom.
Right, so in this particular space, we did the flooring and the painting, but in addition to that, they used to have seats that were bolted to the ground. So those were removed and we were able to get all new furniture for IT5. In addition, all the science classrooms were able to get new furniture because of the flooring requirements. The old furniture would have scuffed up the new floors. So
there you go.
So that's how that was worked in.
Well, and the big thing too is that a lot of these renovations have been done extending the life. So when you want to protect your floors, the first thing you got to do is get new furniture.
Right, right.
And then not to mention in IT5, they redid the cushions in the back.
They were able to reupholster them and make them again a nice blue for Eastlake.
I know I've heard nothing but positive things about being inside the classroom from students saying like, wow, this is so nice. And I'm like, yeah, don't mess it up. We don't want to wait another 30 years.
Right, right.
All right, Ms. Huslin. So here we are in front of phase 2, because we were talking about phase 1 being primarily exterior paint, interior paint, flooring, which is super exciting. But I think this might be probably more exciting than that.
This is probably the greatest transformation that's going to happen here on campus. Behind those blue construction fences is our library.
Okay.
And if you've been in the library before, again, it's being over 30 years old, it was very much a series of unusable spaces, a lot of storage, but really not spaces that were accessible to our students. And so it was a complete gut job inside. And they're taking those unusable spaces and actually turning it into a space that's made for efficiency and the most usability.
So what other kind of spaces are you adding in addition to a library? What else are we going to look forward to?
So there's going to be a presentation room for students with state-of-the-art technology. There's also going to be 3 amazing classroom spaces. One is going to be the sports med classroom. As you might know, we have an incredible sports medicine program here on campus.
Yes, we do.
So in addition to having the classroom space, we're actually going to have an after-hours treatment room for our athletes that's accessible from the stadium.
Great. So thinking late night football game on a Friday, they can go seek treatment on campus.
Right.
Great.
And then in addition to that, we're going to have 2 adequate and state-of-the-art special education rooms that's meant for our mod to severe students. It's going to have 2 classroom spaces along with a proper hygiene facility and a life skills area where students can learn how to cook and do different things for themselves to make them more self-sufficient.
That's amazing. And
Yes.
I'm sure something that our community is very, very excited about.
Right, so we're actually going to have a new bank of restrooms for our boys and girls that's accessible from the outside.
About how many stalls are we looking at?
I think there are about 10 each
Wow,
bathroom.
that's great.
Yes, and in order to make the most of the usable space inside the library, I know that some people are asking about the fireplace.
Yes.
And that fireplace is no longer. Instead, that room has been converted into some high-density book storage space.
Okay.
So again, this is the state-of-the-art where you have movable bookshelves that will house our 50 to 60,000 textbooks that we have on campus. And so again, making the best use of the space so that it's more accessible for our students.
And what's really exciting is that this is phase 2. So what can we look forward to after the library renovations are done? What are we looking forward to with phase 3?
And so again, if you're at all familiar with Eastlake, you know that we have a lot of sports and a lot of events, and we also have an amazing band. And they all need practice spaces. So right now the practice space is very, very tight. And so what the district is looking at is actually converting some old basketball courts into another turf field that has the markings so that any of the sports teams that would normally want to practice out in the stadium can also use that space for practice, and that frees up more of the real estate for our teams.
Oh, that's amazing. And I'm sure all of our athletes are very much looking forward to that.
Yes.
Now, when will the library be done? When can we expect phase 3 to even start?
So the library is scheduled to be done in the spring of 2025, so soon.
Okay.
And so they're wrapping that up, and of course we'll be able to move in for sure for the next school year.
Okay.
The upper field remodel is still in the planning stages, so I don't have a definite date for that yet.
But that's looking to the future.
Yes.
So I'm very excited.
Yes.
All right. I think it's time to get to the front of the school.
All right, let's go.
So we're concluding our tour of the renovations, and what a great place for us to end, which is out on 1120 Eastlake Parkway. So if we haven't driven by in a long time, what would be some of the big changes that are visible from the street?
Well, some of it's visible only at night. We have all of our lighting fixed, including the solar panel lot and all the exterior lighting. We have all new landscape and irrigation out here. And of course, we have our fantastic new marquee. That's the digital state-of-the-art marquee for all of our messaging that we have for the community. In addition to that, we were able to expand the parking lot to make better use of the space and again, add more parking spots.
We always know parking's at a premium. And another thing that's been updated is our sign. What else can you tell us about that?
So that was a complete redo again to make it modern and beautiful. And it also, we added lights so that the sign is illuminated at night and people are able to see it.
That's so great. Anything else? I know we chatted about phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. Any other updates that are coming our way?
So we are working on getting new bleachers installed in the gymnasium. If you've been in there, you know even though they're beautiful and they're wooden, but they're not functioning quite where we want them to be. So they've reached the end of their lifespan, and now we're gonna look into installing some new bleachers.
Wow, Ms. Huslin, thank you so much for taking us on this tour of the renovations. And I know this is your second year here, but you have been amazing in managing all of the renovations. So on behalf of alumni, faculty, everyone in the community, thank you so much for managing this project, because the school looks beautiful.
It's been my pleasure.
All right, well, till I see you again, thank you.